Hello everyone, welcome to episode 41 of the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is a podcast about crochet and knitting and sewing and other crafty things. I am coming to you from Bedfordshire in the UK and we've got a beautifully sunny day today and it's January the 17th I think. 17th of January 2018, brand new exciting new year. You can find me on the web as Cherry Heart in most places, and I'm on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT, and you'll find the show notes for this blog. No, you'll find the show notes for this podcast on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk, and I'll pop the link in the down bar. So if I talk about any yarns or patterns or any of the projects I show, I'll have all the relevant links and things in the show notes, so pop along there if there's something you'd like to know. So how are you? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year? How was your holiday break? Does it feel like a million years ago already? I hope you had a really nice time. We did. We had a nice sort of quiet time. We had a bit of illness going around, so we were quite restful and stayed at home quite a lot. I was ill too, as you can tell. Yeah, but it was really nice. It was really nice to just have a restful time and a relaxing time and spend time with family and so on. Yeah, it was really nice. I've sort of come away from it with a lot sort of, this is probably a UK only reference, so I apologise to anyone else, but I came away with a kind of reddy black glow. So I don't know if you remember that advert, probably from the 70s or 80s, where the kids would eat the Ready Beck and then they would have this kind of orange warm glow because it, you know, kept them going. Oh dear, sorry. Yeah, it kept them going all day. I kind of feel like I've got this kind of warm, comforting glow from that sort of cosy Christmas time. And it's still lingering, just about. It's fading away, but it is lingering. So yeah. Shall I show you what I've been up to? It's been a long time since I podcasted, hasn't it? The last one was before Christmas. So it's the best part of the month, a month really. And you would think I had lots and lots to show you. You would think that. But actually I don't really. But I will show you what I have got. So, as this is a crochet podcast really, obviously I shall show you knitting first. And obviously I shall start with socks, as I normally do. So these are the Evergreen socks, which is a pattern by, I can't remember, I'm very sorry pattern person. But the links will be in the show notes. I've got a Ravelry page, it's all linked on there. You've probably heard of it, there's a few people have made it, I've seen it on podcasts and Instagram. So there we go, I have two. I've done the second one. There's my Christmas tree. So this was my Christmas Eve cast on. So I made the, what did I make? The Yule Ball socks I made before Christmas in the sort of Advent period, which I think I showed in my Christmas podcast. I hope so anyway, because I haven't got them here today. Yeah, so these were my Christmas Eve cast on I should say, which is the knitting event by Danny of Little Bobbins Knits that quite a lot of the knitting world joins in with these days. Yeah, so I was quite slow with these ones actually. It took me a while to make these up, but I really enjoyed them. I really love doing the tree part, the sort of little following the chart for the little trees. I really like that because it sort of, that went really quick. I zoomed through the trees and then the sort of boring plain bit at the bottom was a bit more of a, not quite a slog, but it took me a while to do that bit of the first one. But then once I'd sort of done the second one, I was kind of determined to race through the bottom bit. Because it's a bit dull, isn't it? Just boring plain on the sock for some reason. Self-striping yarn and plain, really quick. Plain yarn and plain, really slow. That's how I find it anyway. Right, so let's tell you something useful, shall we? My usual 2x2 rib, 72 stitches, and then I went down to, I think I went down to 64 for the trees. I presume so, or whatever it was that the chart, to fit the chart. And then I did a Eye of Partridge slip stitch heel, and I put some of the, I did a couple of garters at the edge. I think I did that on my Yule Ball socks as well, just for a bit of variation. Looks quite pretty, I think. And as you can see, I've remembered to carry my slip stitch under the heel this time. So I've carried it right on, and what I do now is I carry it on for all the time that I'm doing the gusset decreases, and then once I finish them I stop, and then that's coming nicely under my heel then. So I did that with a couple of pairs of my socks last year, and now I've started wearing those. I shall have to tell you how that wears, if it wears any better. I've got a pair on at the moment, and it doesn't feel any different underfoot. It feels fine to wear, so that's good. But yeah, I'll have to let you know if it wears any better. And then just a little rounded, easy peasy rounded toe at the top with the cinched in end, because I couldn't be bothered to do anything else, and this is the easiest one. So we go. So they were fun. Oh, the yarn, I haven't told you about the yarn. So this glorious, glorious green colour is a yarn by Travel Knitter. You could almost guess that, couldn't you? Because she does those glorious, rich, saturated colours. That's like, it's her trademark. I got the yarn actually from Festival, and I knew I wanted to knit these, and I thought, I bet Larissa will have something just right. I'm sure she'll have a beautiful green. And she did. And it's this one. And it's her Jazz Age colourway. I can't remember the base, but again, it's blah blah blah. It will be on my Ravelry page, so if you just pop to show notes if you want to know the exact base. I'm pretty sure it's one of her, either it might just be called sock. You know, it's one of her sock ones. It's definitely got nylon in. Oh, I can't talk today. I'm going to have a courtesy break and have a sip of water, I think. Anyway, there they are. I quite like them. So I haven't included these. I finished these in January actually. So I haven't included these in my sort of socks for last year. I'm going to include them in my 6 fits. Oh my word. In my socks for 2018. Yeah, I think I will. So that's those. Right, let's see if that's any better. So that's the first thing that I have done, and the second thing that I have done, I'm just looking at it, sorry, is this squishy piece of gartery loveliness, which is a shawl. Here we go. So it's a very simple shawl. It's my own design that I shall hopefully write up and release at some point when I've done the other things I've got to write up and release beforehand. But yeah, so it's a very sort of basic beginnery pattern, and it's lots of lovely squishy garter. It's in double knit yarn. Oh, it's like heaven. And it's just got a really nice clean simple edge, and I love it. So I'm going to call it Garters Ahoy, because it's all about the garter, the lovely garter stitch. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the mindless knits. It comes, for me, it comes under that heading of those soul-soothing kind of makes that I've been doing and talking about lately. The sort of quite simple patterns, just very repetitive, very mindless, but I just finding it so comforting and enjoyable at the moment. And yeah, so I just wanted, I love the squishiness of garter. I love how these sort of speckly yarns look in the garter. Let's see if I can get it up nice and close for you. I just love how that looks. I love the comforting mindness of the garter stitch. Oh, I love it. So this yarn is one of the things that makes this project so special for me as well, because it's one of my homespun house, my treasured homespun house yarns. And it's called After All This Time, which is one of her Harry Potter yarns. And I've had it for quite a while actually. As I do with all, as I tend to do with all Molly's yarns, I have to keep them and savour them for quite a while before I can bear to use them. But I have to keep telling myself that you'll see it all the time if you make something with it, because you'll be wearing it and you get to look at it. So I have to kind of console myself with that as I take it out of the stash and feel that I really don't want to take it out of the stash and use it up and then it'll be gone. But it's not gone, it's here with me, being enjoyed even more. So yeah, I'm not sure of the base. It'll be linked. It's a big show notes episode today. Look everything up in show notes because I can't remember, my brain does not function. It might be her Dale, or it might be her Plump DK possibly. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's 100% merino one anyway. And as I say, I got it quite a while ago, so I think it's perhaps one of her older bases. So, but you can still, she still has the colourway. I think she was saying, I watched her podcast last night actually, I think she was saying she was doing something with all the Harry Potter colourways. I don't know if it was opening pre-orders for them or she just dyed a lot up and put them in the shop, or I'm not quite sure, but she definitely mentioned it. So if you like the colourway, now may be a good time to look. Oh, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So I've blocked it and I've been keeping it all pristine. I wore it a little bit, but I'm trying not to wear it too much because I wanted to show you guys. So let's move on now to what I am doing now. What I've been doing with a very large proportion of my time actually. I started this before Christmas. I was jiggery pokering away, if that's even a word, around ideas of how to, I had this idea and I've had it in my head for about a year, over a year. So this past sort of 2017, I've been collecting up minis. So every time I go to a show or anything, I'll get a few and I'll perhaps order some here and there. So I've been collecting them up because I had this idea in mind for a blanket. And I started making these squares, these teeny tiny squares out of all these minis I've collected. And I wanted to join them together, but I couldn't be bothered to sew them together because, as you can tell, they are teeny tiny and I'm planning a blanket, and so I'm going to need a lot. I don't know why. Why have I done these tiny little 3 round squares in 4-ply and I've decided to make a blanket out of them? I'm not. I wish I could tell you, I don't know. So I'm picking out some of my favourites to show you because they're so pretty. Oh, this one. This is a Nora George yarn. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. It's called Fleckle. I love it. I'm so sorry. Can't seem to clear this frog in my throat. Where was I? Oh yes, so joining them. So since I'm going to have to make about 11 gajillion of them, I thought there's no way I want to sew these things together. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of way to, you know, join them as I go. So my original idea was to just do a little join as you go slip stitch in the corners. I thought they're only tiny, that'll be enough to pull them together. That should work. I did that with my weekender blanket, which is a hexagon. I just did a little join in the corner, and that's fine. I mean, it's a little bit gapey obviously if you pull it around, but as I haven't got small kids anymore, and you know, it just sits in the living room to be used, so it's really not a problem for me. So I thought, oh, that'll be fine for this. There'll only be a little gap. But I tried it, and it really did not work at all. They didn't want to lie flat. They really gaped just when it was lying there, which my weekend blanket doesn't at all. And I think it's because of all the slightly different variations in the yarn, the slightly different thicknesses, and you know, although it's 4-ply, there's some variance in between the weight, isn't there? So I think that the fact of that and the sort of the feel of them, you know, the drape will be slightly different on different yarns. It just meant it just didn't work, basically. I think if you had all of one type of yarn, it might work. But anyway, it wasn't working, so I thought, well, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board then. Thought maybe I will have to sew them together, but I really couldn't face it. So then I thought maybe I could join them at 2 points along the edge, and that just looked a mess. And then I thought I could try that kind of, you know, have you seen the join as you go, where you kind of interweave the treble stitches into the sort of other square as you make it? So you sort of make your stitch, and then you put your hook through the other square and pull the loop through, and then make the next stitch, take your hook out, pull the loop through the other square, yeah, it sounds a bit laborious because it is. So I had a bit of a go at that, and it looked quite nice. I thought, well, maybe I'll get better at it as I go along. Maybe it'll, you know, a lot of things feel sort of time consuming and difficult when you first do them, but once you get into the rhythm of them, it's fine. So I tried a few more that way, but I wasn't enjoying it. So I thought, there's no way I can do a whole blanket using this method. So it sat for a while I sort of moped and thought, I won't be able to make my blanket, and yeah, it was a bit miserable. So I'm finding more good ones. Let me just show you this actually. Let's just cut to the chase and show you this. Look how big this is, by the way, guys. Look at the size. Quite big. Look how full it is. This is why I have nothing else to show you for the whole of December. Because all I've been doing is having my little crochet cottage industry of square manufactures been running all December. And I have loved and adored it. Look at this one. This is Herbstblatt Regina. Oh, so gorgeous. I keep losing the thread of my story. Anyway, after a little bit of time for this sort of idea to gestate in there, I was thinking about the idea of crocheting them together sort of from the back, and I suddenly had this idea of crocheting them together, but as I went along. So it's like, I haven't actually shown you the blanket yet, have I? What I've got so far. Let me show you the blanket so far. So this is what I've done. Let's go back a bit. So there you go. Quite a bit done, actually. So I came up with the idea of crocheting them together. So that's a double crochet or US single crochet together for each of the squares. Can you see that? I think you can, can't you? Let me get closer. So they're crocheted together through from the back through both loops. So you get that kind of ridge at the back, but you get this kind of almost like stitched effect from the front. Can you see that? I'm not sure. Yeah, can you see the little lines going across? Which I really love because it gives it that it looks like it's been sewn together, so it gives it a real lovely homemade feel, I think. Yeah, but what I've done that in a join as you go way. So each time I make a white square, I'm joining more of these colourful squares onto the blanket. So I don't have to waste any yarn. I'm not having to, because my initial thought was I could make one, I'll leave a big tail and I'll just sew each one as I go. If I've got to do it, I'll just have at least sew them as I go rather than leave that as a job to the end. But then I came up with my little crochet them together as you go idea. So I tried that out and oh, I was so pleased. It gives this such a clean, you know, no gapes whatsoever. You've got that lovely clean neat join. You've got the nice, you know, mimics the stitching effect that I really love. And I sort of joined up a few and I was like, oh, perfect, I love it, I love it. And then I was away. Once I had that bit sussed, I was off and away. There was no stopping me. So I had my little sort of little piece that I've started, and yeah, I haven't really stopped since. So during December it was really nice. I did wind up quite a bunch of minis to sort of get me started, and then during December I had the Nora George calendar, the advent calendar. So each day I would open it up and get my mini and wind it up and make some squares out of that colour, and then the next day I'd get the next one. So that was just, oh, it was just a lovely little little routine. So every day you had that little time to look forward to. You know, you can make your coffee, get your little mini, see how lovely it was, have a nice little relaxing wind, and then just hook up some squares, and it was just a nice little segment of the day. So it became like a little December ritual for me. It was really really nice. Yeah, so and I haven't kind of stopped since. I am almost through all my minis now. I've only got about two or three left that I need to make up squares from. So I've made, for most of them, I've made about 4 squares of each sort of colour that I've got. If it's a smaller mini and it'd only leave a little bit, like some minis would make 6 squares, so I just make 6. But like the Nora George minis like this one, I've still got loads left after I've made 4 squares, so I'll leave it at that. So I thought I'd just make sort of so many of each one, and I can always make more if I need to for the blanket. Yeah, so I sort of make a few, and then I'll perhaps spend a bit of time joining a few, and then I'll make a few more. And yeah, I just cannot, I don't know if I'm conveying, but the joy that this blanket is bringing me at the moment, I think it's possibly one of the most favourite things I have ever made. It just makes me so happy to work on this thing. I just feel so, I don't know. I suppose it's got that mindless element. These are only plain old solid granny squares, round and round, very easy. And then you get a little bit, and every so often I get some out and you have a little bit of fun colour play, lay a few out, you know, 6 or 7 or 8, and then join them up and you get to see how it looked, and oh, it makes my heart sing, it really does. I love it, I love it. So as a consequence I haven't really stopped yet. I can't quite get enough of it, so I'm kind of not racing through the blanket, I wouldn't say, but given that I've got so many, sorry you can't see that, so many of these colourful squares made up now. Oh, so beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to be down to some serious colour play and joining. So this is, it's not quite the width I want yet. I want it to be nice and big. It's going to go on my bed. So I think I'm going to need something in the region of, and this will scare you, something in the region of 1,080 squares. That's my initial estimate. And then I'm thinking if that doesn't look quite right, I might add a few more rows or columns or whatever. Yeah, so it's sort of, I thought it would be daunting. I thought, oh, this one will take me forever. Maybe I'll sort of 2 years for this one, even if I just made, you know, a couple of squares a day or something was my initial thought, but actually that wouldn't cut it, would it? But anyway, but as it's turned out doing it, it's just, I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's all I want to do. And yeah, I'm definitely at halfway with my coloured squares. I think I've made all that I'll probably need, unless I decide to make it bigger. And then obviously I haven't joined that many, but I've joined quite a serious chunk. So yeah, at this rate I'm almost, it's becoming like a good book. You know, when you've got a book that you really enjoy and you kind of, you're sort of reading it every moment because you really love it, and then as you start to see the pages go, sort of, you're getting through the book, you almost don't want to read it because you don't want it to end, and you almost you know, you sort of like pick more select moments to read it because you really want to savour it because there's not that much left. Obviously I've still got quite a way with this, but at the moment I'm in that racing through it because I love it so much, and at this rate I'll be having to put it aside just so I can savour it and make it last a bit longer, because I'd planned for it to be at least all of this year to make, if not 2 years. So at this rate I'll be sort of, I don't know, I'm kind of I'm almost tempted to keep working on it and just see how long it takes to make, but like I say, I kind of want to eke it out as well, so we'll see. So that's that gorgeous lovely project that I'm obsessed with. And I'll just quickly share, this is the joining yarn I'm using, which is the Drops Baby Merino. And yeah, there's not much to say about that really, just that I wanted something consistent for the joining yarn. And I looked at actually some undyed yarn. That was my first thought, because it would be, obviously I knew I'd need quite a bit, and you know, it's not cheap, is it? I've sort of, as I've brought the minis and sort of eked it out and had it here and there, although if I sat and added it up, which I'm not going to do, for safety reasons, it would be quite shocking, I'm sure. The sort of, the white, I kind of wanted to get all together if I could, so that, you know, it all looked the same. But yeah, after a bit of looking around, I found this and I thought, actually, that would be quite nice. And it's easier to order a few more if I want to as well. So yeah, that's it. That's my favourite project. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so I'm calling it my Battenberg blanket because of the checkerboard pattern that I've got. I think it's quite a UK thing, but if you've ever had Battenberg cake, it sort of comes like this. You get in a slice, you'll get 4 squares, and there'll be 2 pink squares and 2 yellow squares. So it reminded me of Battenberg cake, this kind of checkerboard effect. But I think this general checkerboard is called Battenberg patterning. I think, like, you know, when police and fire service, emergency service use those sort of different checkers, that's called, I think it's called Battenberg patterning as well, which I did find when I looked it up on the internet. But yes, I thought that was kind of an appropriate name. So the join is what I was going to say, because I shared, excuse me, so I shared a picture on Instagram, and I've got some questions about the join and everything. So I've done a little video tutorial. I did one last week and realised I'd done it all wrong, so I had to do it again. I did it again yesterday, so I think I'm okay now. Yeah, so I'll get that up. It's not up quite yet, so it might be tomorrow. So if you're watching this pretty much straight away, it might not be quite there yet, but it's coming very soon. Very soon it's coming. And I'll link to it in the show notes when it's out. And obviously I'll let you know on the blog, or if you subscribe here on YouTube, you'll just, the video will pop up when it's up. So yeah, so I shall keep you posted on that. What else have we got to talk of? I think, oh, pips, patterns in progress. what do I need to tell you there? What's the latest? I've got my forget-me-nots blanket, which I'll just pop a picture in because I didn't bring it up, that I made before Christmas. If you follow the blog, you'll have seen that I did put some links, because the square is quite a standard square, you know, it's not my design specifically, it's just one that's out there in the world that I used. So there are some links to some other patterns in there, but I am writing up exactly how I made the square and well, I'm going to write up a pattern for the whole blanket, so obviously I've included how I made the square within that pattern. So yeah, I'm going to get that released. That's the next thing I'm doing after. Now I've got the tutorial for that done. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a pattern for this after that, I think. So that's all the patterns in progress news. And incoming goodies is the last thing. It's been Christmas, so we have some incoming goodies. Had some lovely, lovely gifts from lovely, lovely people. Generous, kind, gorgeous people. So let's see what I've got to share with you. Oh, on that note, actually, I'm wearing my look, cherry earrings that were from Lynn. If you watched the Christmas episode, I showed off all the lovely, lovely things that Lynn sent me. Yes, and I forgot to wear the cherry earrings at the time, but I'm wearing them today. I've got some yarn sat here. This is why I keep looking over here. Where to begin? I'm going to start with some Hers Black Regina yarn. Cool, that was it. Straight into it, wasn't it? Let's go. Woo! Straight into it. Yeah, Regina did an absolutely stunning advent calendar. I so wish I'd signed up for that too. I think one's quite, you know, luxurious. Two would have been mega extravagant, wouldn't it? But oh, all of her colours every day that she showed. Oh gosh, I loved them so much. So this was one of her advent calendar colourways. Each day as she released a picture on Instagram of what that day's advent yarn was, she had some full skeins in the shop that you could get, and this one was called Under the Mistletoe, and I just couldn't resist that. Just loving that minty colour at the moment. And then this was another one it's my favourite. I got it on the sparkle base actually. It's just so subtle. Sorry, there's dogs barking. I hope that's not too loud for you. And that's called Dreaming of a White Christmas. I love it. I think she did say this is the dye is ever so slightly different from the Advent Calendar Mini, but as I didn't have the Advent Calendar Mini to compare it to, none the wiser. So, oh, it's utterly gorgeous though. There's that little touch of mustard in there as well. Oh. Yeah, and then while I was there, while I was ordering, and because it was Christmas, I popped these ones in. So this one is Napoleon, the cake that conquers the world. Again, quite nice and subtle, but oh, love that. And this one is Cherry Blossoms, which is just a really nice sort of mid-pink, just really nice. It's almost like a sort of semi-solid. It's like a variegated semi-solid. Can you have that? Is that a thing? But yeah, I love that. And then because Reggie is just such a lovely, lovely person, she popped in for me to try one of these, which is it's a brand new base of hers, and it's just realised I didn't tell you the base of the other ones. The base of this one is a tencel merino and silk DK weight yarn. Now I've never had anything with tencel before, and I thought it sounded like some kind of man-made fibre, but apparently it's not. I haven't sort of looked into it massively, but just a brief little search sort of said, yeah, it's not. It's actually natural. So it's got a shine, a shimmer to it. It's almost got like a sort of bamboo-y type feel. That's the sort of closest comparison I would say. And it's got that shine, but it's just It's really soft and sort of floppy. It's going to have fantastic drape to it, whatever gets made in this. And this is in her vintage ornament collection, which is another one that really caught my eye. So I love that. So I'm not quite sure what to do with it yet. I love it. And she put 2 of these in. So there was one for me, but there's also one for a giveaway as well. So thank you so much, Regina. That is so kind of you. So next time we get a giveaway organised, this will be one of the goodies for you. So temptation. Yeah, so the bases of these other ones, there was the sparkle sock, so that's 75% superwash merino, 20% polyamide, 5% gold stellina, and these ones I believe are all hazel soft sock. Yeah, they are. So that's 80% superwash merino and 20% polyamide. And these, I love the new label as well. That's really pretty. These ones are the old label, which was also pretty, but I think I like this one even more. That's really nice. So those were ones I sort of ordered, and they came just before Christmas as well, so that was like a little early present, so that was fun. And then I got some gorgeous goodies from my lovely friend Sam. She got me lots of lovely things. She got me a Christmas present and she got me a birthday present as well, so I was really pampered by Sam. And she got me this basket here, actually. That basket on the shelf there, that's got my Nora George Advent minis that sit rather perfectly in that really cute little basket. So she got me that. She got me these gorgeous pens, which I left downstairs. Perhaps I'll pop a picture in, because they're a little pen set. They all came together in a little set, and I've picked those up. I know where she got them from, because I'd seen them. I picked them up at least 3 or 4 times every time I went past them. And I'll go, I like these pens. And then I'd think, oh, well, you know, can I really justify more pens? I suppose I better leave it. And then she got me them, so it's just perfect. She knows my taste. She's got me down to a T. So, yeah, that was really nice. And she made me some beautiful things. She made me a top. She sewed me a top. I was so touched. That was for my birthday present. I should have brought that up. Oh, it's in the wash. Oh, but it's beautiful. It's like a sort of a fitted, how would you describe it? Like a sort of t-shirt top, I suppose, but long sleeve, and so it's fitted. In this really nice pink fabric. I'll pop a picture in actually so you can see. Yeah, but I did a little squeal when I opened that because I was so pleased. Yeah, so thank you so much, Sam. I have said thank you to her, obviously, but thank you again because I love it. So yeah, I was just really pleased with that. And she also made me, these were my Christmas present, these gorgeous mitts. Now these are a crochet project pattern, I believe. I think they're in one of their little booklets. I'm not sure if it's Joanne's or Kat's pattern, but I know if you look up Crochet Project you will find them because it's definitely one of theirs. I think Sam made a pair for herself actually. She was saying about it in a podcast before Christmas a little while ago. So yeah, I'd seen them, and look at that side detail, that's so cute, isn't it? But yeah, they're really lovely crocheted mitts. So yeah, they're so cosy and warm, they're gorgeous. She said, oh, you could wear them, you know, on dog walks. And you're right, they are good for that, but they're almost too good for dog walks, don't you think? But, you know, I don't want them to get any mud on them or anything. But, yeah, I love them. Thank you, Sam. There's more. I know, I'm so lucky. I also received a Ravelry pattern that was gifted to me. I won't say who, just in case they don't want me to, because I haven't checked, but you know who you are, and because we've spoken on Ravelry. But yeah, so I got a lovely shawl pattern from her, which was completely out of the blue and unexpected, so that was a really nice gift as well. So it was one of I'm just trying to think of her names, Adiday Designs shawls. Yeah, so I've not done one of those before, so that'll be really interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So thank you for my lovely shawl pattern. And I also got from my lovely friend in America, the lovely Amelia, who some of you will know from Instagram. She sent me some goodies too. Now these are utterly gorgeous yarns by Cozy Posy Yarn Company. Now I've heard of these because Antonella is a friend of Jules from So Sweet Violet, and so she'll often talk about her yarns. And I have often seen this gorgeous eye candy that she holds up, and I thought, oh, wow, wouldn't that be lovely? But ordering from America with the shipping and all the customs and everything is quite expensive, so I'm giving that a bit of a rest for a minute, because I find if you don't order too often, they don't always sting you with customs, but yeah. So this was a real treat to get this all the way from America. I'm showing you, I'm not saying a thing about them, am I? I'm useless. So this one is sweater weather. So it's on her classic sock, which is 75% superwashable, 25% nylon. And that's the sweater weather, which has got, it's quite nice and autumnal, isn't it? It's got some real nice rich jewel tones in there, and that lovely base of creamy warm base. Gorgeous. I'd heard of this one. Amelia was saying I just had to send you this one. I was like, yes, I've heard of that one. Oh, so that looks gorgeous. I've got a project lined up that this is going to go into. Another little idea that I've had ticking away in there for a little while. I've got some yarns pulled out for it actually in that basket there, and this is going with it too. So I want to start that quite soon, if I can bear to rip myself away from the other blanket. And this one is called I Smell Snow, which is a Gilmore Girls reference. And this one is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, ooh, 10% gold stellina. Well, it's not America, sorry, this is from Canada. I do apologise. Cozy Posy Yarn Co. and to Antonella, not that there's any reason why I should be watching this, but I'm sorry. But even so, it is very nice. It would still cost a fortune, even from Canada, I'm sure. So it's still a massive treat for me to have these here. Thanks to wonderful, wonderful yarny people. And she also put some David's tea in the package, which I was inordinately excited about because I've never had any before, and everyone raves about it, don't they? It's always coming up on podcasts, and everyone's always saying how lovely it is. So I was like, oh, I've got some of the famous David's tea, how exciting. Yeah, so small things that please me, it's the small things. Yes, well, I think that's all I have to show you. So thank you for all my lovely presents to everyone that sent me one. That's so kind of you. And I think that's it from me now, really. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there, shall we? I will hopefully be a little bit quicker about getting the next podcast out now that I'm sort of back into the old routine, as it were. Yeah, so hopefully I shall see you next time and we can chat some more then. Until then, have a lovely time, enjoy your lovely crafting, and I hope you are keeping cosy. Though that's not going to be a problem for everyone actually, is it? So keeping cosy or keeping cool, depending on what your current seasonal status is in the world. But either way, have fun with your crafting, and I'll see you next time. Bye!